All right, we are live. Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Nerdy Neo. Many of you from the YouTube community may know me better as Brobafett, but I'll get more into that in my upcoming regular video game discussion stream slash podcast, which I'll be starting this Saturday, the 1st at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, where myself, Ryan from Legion Games, and Mark the Cyborg will be talking about video games for an hour or so. This is my first stream on YouTube, and appreciate you tuning in. And I apologize in advance for any boomerang I may do as I get familiar with how this streaming process works. So, this wasn't planned to be my first stream. My regular stream slash podcast on Saturday was planning on being my first stream, but this stream just came together so effortlessly that here we are. So Mega Man is one of my favorite franchises. I've grown up with a kid, and while watching one of my guests stream one Mega Man game last week, the idea for the stream popped in my head, and asked him and one of the other viewers in the chat, like, hey, do you want to do a stream where we talk about Mega Man for a while? And both said, yeah, let's do it. So that's how the stream came together. So first guest I want to introduce is DJ Axis. Hello,
Hey, what's
DJ.
up? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing good. Thank you for joining me on my first stream.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you streaming right now from your new computer that the community helped come together to make happen for you?
Yep. Yeah, I am. It's working great. No problems.
That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that they came together and made that happen for you.
Mm-hmm. G2 community is the best community.
Yeah, side scrollers are great people.
Absolutely.
So my next guest, DJ Access here, and I were watching his stream of Mega Man last week when the idea for the stream came together. So bring in Geno RPG 95. I'm just going to call him Geno for short. Thank you for joining me on my first stream.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here.
So when we were watching you last week and this came together, which Mega Man was it that you were streaming? Was it X4 or was it X5? Do you remember?
It was X4. I was doing the Zero run.
Okay. I was like, I think it was X4, but it's been a long time since I played X4 or basically anything past the original X trilogy. So sometimes I get mixed up which one is which. So awesome. Well, glad you guys were able to join me, and we'll get into it. So I mentioned Geno beforehand, but DJ Axis, I mentioned this to you, that I did a little bit of research beforehand and found out some interesting facts about Mega Man that I thought I would ask you guys, see if you know, and just toss out some ones that aren't really trivia. It's just like, hey, here's something interesting. So start off with what I think is a pretty easy one. What is Mega Man called in Japan?
That's Rockman.
Yes. That's figured that was probably a softball. But okay, so one of the other ones is what is one of the main differences between Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2?
Ooh.
It's on the screen when you're selecting.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go to. Do you know?
Yeah. Oh, I know this one. Yeah. So in Mega Man 2 specifically, the NTSC release, there's a difficulty selection that's not in the Japanese version. So the version that we have has basically they call it normal and difficult, but normal mode is actually easy because difficult is the Japanese normal mode.
Okay. That's not even where I was going with that, but you taught me something.
Is
okay.
it the Mega Man's face on the character select screen? Because he wasn't on the original one, where he's actually looking around at the different robot masters when you select them.
Okay. No, also not where I was going with that. It was the actual number of bosses in Mega Man 1. There's 6, whereas all the others, there's 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I just learned something new from that question as well.
Well, unless you count Mega Man Powered Up.
That's true.
Is that like a re-release of
Mega
Man 1?
So on the PlayStation Portable, they re-released Mega Man 1 in sort of like a more cartoony art style, and they called it Mega Man Powered Up, and they added 2 extra robot masters, that being Oil Man and Time Man.
Okay, I've not even heard of that game. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I found is that they were originally planned to be 8, but they had to scrap
Mhm.
2 of them. And
Yeah,
the 2 that they scrapped, they never actually reused. So the ones that you just mentioned, Oil Man and Time Man, I think they came up with at the time of the release of that Mega Man Powered Up.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so the next one is, what was the first Mega Man game on Super Nintendo?
Was X1 first?
I want to say X came first, but I could
Okay.
be wrong.
It was a little bit of a trick question because you
Oh,
would think
no.
that
Mega Man Soccer.
7.
Oh, 7.
Well, I was thinking Mega Man 7 would be the one that would throw you off, but Mega Man X did come out before Mega Man 7.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Mega Man X was in 93, and Mega Man 7 was until 95. Hey, JT, awesome to see you here on my first official live stream. That's a buddy of mine. I was on stream with him on Monday.
What's up?
So, okay, this should be a pretty easy one, I think. But what was the first time Zero was playable?
X3.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gino's gonna get this one.
He's kind of like a hidden character. You may play through the whole game and not even know that you can actually play as him. You have to go to the pause screen and then hit like one of the bumpers to move the screen over, and then select him, and you can play through certain parts of a level, and you can only use them like once in the whole game. But if you save it to a certain point at near the end of the game, you can get the Z Saber from him, which is one of the most powerful weapons in like all of Mega Man, because you can kill any boss in 2 hits.
Yeah, it's what I did in my X3 run.
Yeah, Mega Man X3 with the Z Saber and the Hyper Chip, which is the gold armor, is like my favorite Mega Man, probably like the most powerful Mega Man in like any Mega Man game, at least my opinion.
It's way overpowered, but I love it so much.
It is. It's so OP. So, which next one is, which game was Axel introduced in?
7. X7.
X7, yes. Okay, so here's a fun one. I knew some of the gist of this, but I didn't know like the specifics of it. So one of the Mega Man X games, all the bosses are named after people in a band. What do you know what game it is and what band it is?
It should be X5, and I think it's Guns N' Roses.
Yes. And Mega Man X5, all the bosses were originally named after characters. Band members from Guns N' Roses. So you had like Grizzly Slash, Duff McWhalen. I guess one of the, I don't know, everyone knows Slash and Axl Rose, but most people don't know the names of the other band members. So that was like Duff McKagan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You had Squid Adler, who was Steven Adler. But when they re-released it with the, I don't know if they did it before the X collection, but I know in the Mega Man X Legacy collection, they changed all the names so they're not actually referencing Guns N' Roses members.
Yeah, that stupid title whale. Duff McWhalen's way cooler.
I agree. I thought Duff McWhalen was a way cooler name than Title Whale. One interesting thing that I found when I was researching this was Kenji Inafune actually hated the original art style of the game.
Dang.
I don't know what
really
about it, but I saw that on an article. It's like he hated it. I'm like
all the Mega Man games or just X?
I think the original release back in '87. Which, that was one of the things. I don't know if I have it on my notes or whether I forgot to put it on there. But Mega Man has a special place in my heart, partially due to the fact that we're the same age. He debuted the same year I did.
Nice.
But
I was going to get into first Mega Man game, but we'll get into that in just a moment. It was. One of the cool things that they added in Mega Man X that wasn't in the original series is that depending on the order that you beat the bosses in, if you beat one boss, it may have an effect on another character's stage, and it may actually change how the level lays out. And sometimes you have to do that in order to get to certain power-ups, which is pretty cool concept that I don't think anyone had ever seen in a game before, at least in a level-based game like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was just some of the cool trivia. Kind of wanted to throw your guys' way. So now we'll kind of get into the topics that we discussed a little bit in our private chat. So, I actually forgot to add this. I thought of it just recently. Did you guys ever watch the Mega Man cartoon?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Rankin Bass one, right?
I remember Bass was in it.
No, the company Rankin Bass. I think they're the ones that did. I think it's like a Deke cartoon, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I could be
Yeah.
wrong though.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look into that. I don't remember the company or anything that made it.
Oh,
But I
okay,
do remember
yeah.
watched it when I was a kid, and I loved it.
I actually
I
watched.
don't know if it holds up anymore. I haven't seen it since I was a child, but
Yeah. It's probably not as good as you remember, but yeah, I remember watching that after school all the time.
yeah, I remember Mega Man and Proto Man and Roll and Rush were all in it.
There was that one cool episode where they had Mega Man X characters come from the future too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That would've been awesome. All right, Melee K, I'm glad you're here.
What's up, Melee K?
Hey, Kay.
But yeah, that and it's funny because in some of the Mega Man X4 and 5, like some of the not specifically related to the cartoon, but I think we were joking about it in chat while Gino was playing it. Just some of the dialogue is like so cringe. Like, what was that line that everyone makes fun of Zero
Oh
for?
no!
Like, what am I fighting for?
What am I fighting for? And it's just like super drawn out, and you're just like, oh god damn.
It's so cringe. Backyard TARDIS. Awesome. Glad to see you here, Nick. If you're talking every Mega Man, are you going to cover Captain N Mega Man?
Oh man!
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
like you know.
Yeah, I know about that too.
All right, you have to enlighten me.
Okay, so this is, I think Captain N the Game Master was 87 or 88 when it was on TV. So, okay, first of all, do you ever remember the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Was that the
I love
animated
that.
or the one with like the actual live action characters?
The cartoon show.
Okay.
It was both.
Okay, so
Vaguely.
So Nintendo brokered a deal with, I can't remember which company did this, and they originally wanted to have it called like the Nintendo Power Hour or something like that, and it was going to have Mario, Zelda, Metroid, I think California Games, and a few other like one-off like NES shows, and eventually that spun into the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. And then, also the Zelda cartoon on Fridays. And then this other cartoon show called Captain and the Game Master that aired on a different network. And that show had, let me see if I can remember everyone on there. It was Simon Belmont, Kid Icarus, Mega Man. I think there might have been one or two other characters. And then they had like an original character, Princess Lana, who was made up for the show. That show is just, it's something else. So to avoid copyright issues, and the other thing was there was some, I don't remember if it was like I think it was like a bill or something that passed that you weren't allowed to advertise to children in the 80s, because of like cartoon shows and stuff. Parents didn't want cartoon shows to just be like 30-minute advertisements to their kids. So they had to strip out any sort of likeness of Nintendo characters from the characters in the show. And that's why like Mega Man and Kid Icarus and Simon Belmont don't look anything like they do in the games.
They're like the dollar store versions.
Yeah, they might even be worse than the dollar store versions. Oh, and there's like villains in there too, like Mother Brain, King Hippo, Eggplant Wizard. And then Bubble Man. They always did like a one-off, like every episode they went to like a different video game, and it was kind of faithful to some of those games to some degree, but it was still just really zany.
Okay, yeah, I'd never heard of this show, so I'd love to see some clips of it sometime.
You could probably find it on YouTube pretty easy.
Yeah, I'd probably pretty much find anything on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, well, awesome. I'm glad that led to that, and Nick bringing that up so I could learn about some show that I'd never heard of. So, all right, well, we'll get into the first real question here is what was the first Mega Man game you played? Gino, you want to go?
So yeah, I was trying to remember because like when I was growing up, we had NES, so I remember playing. I don't remember which one first specifically. It was either 3, 4, 5, or 6. I think it was 6 because I remember the jetpack thing, but I could never get. I was like 5 or 6, and I couldn't get past any of the Robot Masters. So I was just like, "Oh, cool! I like Mega Man. Let's go!" And then I just never get past that first level. I'm like, "Cool, let's go."
Yeah, back in the days of brutally hard video games, and it wasn't, people whining about it and asking for difficulty sliders and
Checkpoints everywhere.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I never played the old school Mega Man games until like the Mega Man Legacy Collection. So I never played them back in the day. So I knew that they had a reputation for being very difficult, but I didn't play them until probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And so they weren't as hard as I was expecting, but they I could definitely see them being very difficult for kids back in the 90s. Or 80s, since that's when the franchise debuted. So yeah, the first Mega Man game I played was Mega Man X, and that's why the Mega Man X series, which actually I might be jumping the gun here because that was I think one of the other questions. The Mega Man X series is my favorite, and it's probably because I started with Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3 because they came out when I was probably like 6, 7. And then I went back and played the older series much later. So, what about you, DJ? What was your first foray? Right? I don't know.
Foray.
Foray. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Into the Mega Man franchise.
Okay. My first Mega Man game was Mega Man 2, and it was almost when the game was still new. I think this was maybe like a year after we had gotten an original NES for Christmas. And I don't remember which video store, but this is back in the days of renting video games. We rented Mega Man 2. And I think because it was Christmas, my dad rented we begged him to rent 2 copies at once because my oldest brother, he was not really one to share his video games, and we had 2 NESs in the house.
Okay. I was going to ask if you had 2 NESs.
Yeah, we had 2 NESs in the house. I think one of them because my oldest brother had one, and then the younger kids had to share the other. But we were like, I'm not waiting to play Mega Man 2. I want to play it, so we rented 2 copies. It was a blast. It's been my favorite ever since. I mean, we can get to that later, but yeah, my very first introduction to Mega Man was Mega Man 2.
Nice. Hey, what's up, Corey? Awesome to see you here. This is a buddy of mine from my Xbox community. I'm really active in their Discord, the Achievement Hunting 101 community.
Sweet.
Xbox Achievement Hunters, which I am a part of. So glad you're here, Corey. Awesome.
Nice. What's up?
So, let's see here. Okay, so that was our first Mega Man game. So I kind of touched on this briefly. Out of all the different series of Mega Man, you got the original series, Mega Man X, Mega Man 0, Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Legends. What is your obviously mine is the Mega Man X series. What are your guys' favorite series? It sounds like DJ yours is the original series is your favorite.
Yeah, so are you asking which ones I've played or which ones are my favorites?
Just which of, if you had to pick one of the different Mega Man series, which one is your favorite?
Definitely classic Mega Man. It's what I played first. It's what I know the best. And it's no slight against the X series or Zero or anything. It's just the one I'm the most familiar with. So it's classic Mega Man all the way.
Yeah, like I said, X was kind of new at the right age for me. That's why it became my favorite thing. Not that the other series are bad or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Melee Cave, Mega Man Battle Network. We'll touch on Mega Man Battle Network a little later. I have some things to say about it. Not not bad, but we'll get to that. So, Gino, what out of all the different series which one is your favorite?
So I'm sort of on the fence between two because I grew up like similar to you. Like the first game I really got like capable at was the X series, the X games. But the Zero series is really good, not only from a thematic standpoint, but the storytelling is fantastic. So probably it's either the X or the Zero series.
Okay. We'll get there on one of the.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. She didn't put the eye emojis. We're safe.
So, okay, yeah, I like the Zero series as well. And then I have some things to say about ZX and ZX Advent as well. So, out of all the Mega Man games, was there one that you enjoyed more than you expected to? I'll start with this one if you unless you guys have an answer lined up.
You can go first if you want.
Okay, so given how poorly regarded Mega Man 6 and X6 and X7 are, specifically X7, I think that's probably like one of the biggest blights on the Mega Man franchise, or at least as widely regarded as probably the worst. I didn't have a lot of faith going into Mega Man X8, but I really enjoyed X8. I only played it once, but I would have no problem going through and playing it again. I actually really enjoyed that one. The only issue I had with X8 was I'm a completionist, so I had to get everything. There's one, I don't even remember if it's a power up or something, but I remember there's one level where the only way to get to it is you have to get the ride armor at the beginning of the level. You have to take it through like half the level, and then you have to go backwards, jump out of the ride armor to make the jump to get to the platform you need to. And if you miss it or lose your ride armor, you have to start the whole level over again. I'd do that so many times to get that item. I remember that being a real pain. But other than that, I really enjoyed the X8 game. And I don't know how well it's generally regarded by the community, but I thought X8 was actually pretty good. So,
would you like to go next, Gino?
Yeah, I'll go next. So I actually had the same feeling as you with X8. So I actually didn't play X4 through X8 until I got the Legacy Collection. So I had never touched them until this. So going through X4, 5, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. And then I hit X6, and I'd just watched a video on YouTube about it, Jay's Reviews. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he did a whole retrospective on the X series.
Okay.
And he absolutely demolished X6, and I'm like, I have no excitement for this game whatsoever. And I started without the ultimate armor, and I'm like, I loathe this game. I got to the fire level, and I'm like, I completely loathe this game right now. And then I hit X7, and I'm like, I thought X6 was the worst, and then I hit X7, and I'm just like, the 3D perspective just does not work super well with the mobility factor anyway, especially with Zero Z Saber. But then when I hit X8, I'm like, wait a second. They brought the best of both. They have like a little, like the 3D avatars in the area, and then they have like a linear like platform to walk across.
It's a 2D plane, but it has 3-dimensional depth.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it could qualify as the 2.5D. A lot of games.
Yeah.
I didn't think X6 was all that bad, but it's definitely not as good as X4 and X5. But I didn't think X6 was that bad. But X7, X7 was terrible.
And on the same sort of train, so I actually rented Mega Man X Command Mission. That was the first time I tried it. That was the RPG version.
Okay, because I've not played it, and I didn't even know that was a game until recently. So I was going to ask about if you knew about Command Mission, and kind of give me the brief overview on what Command Mission was. Because when I just heard it mentioned in a video I watched not long ago, and it seems like it's a pretty well-regarded game, but I don't know anything about it.
So it's your typical RPG affair using Mega Man X characters, but it's also not canon to the actual series. So it's its own little like spin-off series. It takes place in like 21XX, and it's like Zero, Mega Man, and another hunter are going to figure out this disturbance that's going on, and it delves them into this whole different area, like whole different map area where they're trying to help this place figure out what's up with their issues. And it has your typical or your it's a turn-based combat.
Oh, okay.
And it's really cool because I really like turn-based RPGs, like
Is it
actual
kind of like
turn-based.
the Mega Man version of Super Mario RPG?
In a sense, like battle-wise, but there are a lot of different intricacies that go into it. Like you have like sub-weapons that you can use, and then you have your main weapon, then you have charged attacks based on how much power you save up during a turn or during a collection of turns.
Okay. But you really enjoyed that one?
I love it. It's unique, and it's not something for everyone. But if you're into RPGs and you're into Mega Man, you'd probably like it.
I'd probably be on the fence about it because I do love Mega Man, but for the most part, I hate turn-based combat. So I don't know how I feel.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
conflicted.
I get that.
So, DJ, did you have a Mega Man game that you enjoyed more than you expected?
I did. In fact, I have two of them, and both of them
okay.
are different than what either of you have said.
Awesome.
So the two games that I played and I actually enjoyed more than I thought would be the original Mega Man 8 and Rockman and Forte, or Mega Man and Bass as it was later called here in the US.
I was going to say, is that the Mega Man and Bass, which I've never played, but I saw that it existed?
Yeah, so Mega Man and Bass is kind of seen as like one of the weakest original Mega Man games. It's not that bad though. It kind of gets a bad rap. Burner Man, though, we'll talk about him later. He deserves all the hate that he gets. He's probably one of the most BS robot masters ever made, but that's another story. Mega Man 8 also, like, of all the mainline Mega Man, like original Mega Man games, it also gets a lot of hate because all of the robot master weapons will kill normal enemies in a single hit. So once you have any single robot master weapon, you can pretty much steamroll any of the levels, especially if you have Astro Crush. It's basically a screen clear, so you can basically spam it, and as long as you can keep your energy up, like nothing can touch you. So it is a little bit easy, but I really like the animations in Mega Man 8. Not so much the way the robot masters talk, and yeah, it's early PlayStation voice acting. You know what to expect from that, but it's a decent game. Like that one and 7 are both really good, but yeah, I really enjoyed 8 and Mega Man and Bass for sure.
Okay. Was there another one as well, or was that both of them?
No, that was both of them.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. So, I guess I should have had this one probably farther up on the list. So, just to give a little like overview of which series you have played. So I played all the OG Mega Mans. I played all the Mega Man X games. I played all of Mega Man Zeros, and I played ZX and ZX Advent, but I never finished ZX Advent. And then I played of the Mega Man Battle Network. I played 3, and I played that to completion. What give us the rundown on your full roster of Mega Man games that you've played?
All right, so I've played quite a bit of the original Mega Man games. The only one in the original series I haven't played yet is Mega Man 11.
I have 11. I forgot about that one because it's so new. It just came out.
Yeah,
I have it, but I haven't played it yet either.
Oh, okay. I played some of the Mega Man X games. I want to say I played up maybe to X5 when it was still new on like the original PlayStation. I know I didn't play any of the 2.5D ones. I think I played the first Mega Man Zero game. And then I played the first Mega Man Legends, and that's kind of it for me.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Gino, what about you?
So I've played Mega Man 1 through 6. I've only beaten 1 and 2. I played 11. I'm almost done with that. I'm having a hard time at the Wily stages.
I'm looking forward to playing that one eventually.
I've played all of the X series. I played like 1 or 2 games of Mega Man Soccer.
Oh, I forgot about that
I
too.
think
Yeah.
I played that like at Blockbuster when they used to have like game stations,
Mhm.
but I haven't ever actually like played it like at home or anything.
Oh, you're better off. Trust me.
I rented it from Blockbuster a couple of times. So I'm like, ooh, Mega Man. That was basically my thought process.
Yeah, same. I didn't want to admit it, but I played it too.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing it on the shelf at Blockbuster, but I never actually played it. Okay. Were there any others?
Yep. Then I've played all 4 Zero games, ZX, and similar to you with ZX Admin, I've dabbled in. I cannot for the life of me even want to finish that.
I wonder if it's for the same reason, which I think is one of the questions later on down the list.
So then I've played Battle Network 1 now, and I played one of the Star Force games. I just forget which one. I liked the combat, but I didn't understand the story so much.
Okay. Because that was one of the other things I had on here was I was going to ask you guys if you had played Command Mission, which you already talked about, and then Star Force was another Mega Man series that I didn't even know existed until I made the thumbnail for the stream, and I saw this one at the end. I was like, what the heck, Mega Man is that? And I went and looked it up, and Mega Man Star Force. I'm like, I never heard of that one. So I looked it up. It was like the spiritual successor to Battle Network, but Battle Network, like you have like the plane that you play off your characters on either side, but then in Star Force it's like over
third person perspective. Yeah,
like that definitely looks weird. I wonder how did you feel about the Star Force game you played compared to Battle Network?
So now that I've played both, I like the idea, but I wish I could go back and play it knowing that I could just use the Buster and not have to wait for chips to reload into my game battle.
Did you think the only way you could shoot was with the chips?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my
So
goodness. Yeah, that would definitely be a game changer.
But yeah, it was really good. I thought the 3D perspective was pretty interesting, especially when you hit bosses, because the bosses just sit at the end of the lane, I'm pretty sure, or at the end of all 3 lanes, and you have to just time your attack or pick the right one to hit them with.
Okay. Yeah, I like I said, I played Battle Network 3 to completion. I got all 7 stars, and I like that because, like I said earlier, like I hate turn-based, but it was like it was a random encounter sort of thing, kind of like old JRPGs, but the combat itself was in real time with pauses in between where you can line up your chips. I really liked that. So I wonder how I'd feel about playing Star Force. I don't think I'll ever get around to playing Star Force, but with that different perspective, I wonder how I feel about that. Okay, so we went over that. Yeah, I missed that question when we went over it the first time. So I would at least Gino and I probably have the same answer to this question. Is like, which one was your least favorite? I'm going to go on a limb here and say, at least for the two of us, X7.
Yeah, X7, and so far as the X admin, if I ever finish that, I'll be able to give a full idea on what I think of it. But
okay, yeah, I think I've got that later on. So, TJ, what was your least favorite?
I think my least favorite Mega Man game so far has been Mega Man 10. I don't know. I liked 9 when they, when Capcom finally decided we actually still care about classic Mega Man. So I was like, oh hell yeah.
SNES graphics back to the 8-bit.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then they were like, hey, we still like Mega Man, guys. Here's 10. And I'm like, it's something. I do like how you can play as Proto Man, and I think you can play as Base 2, if I remember correct.
I remember playing as Proto Man, but I don't remember playing as Base. But
I think he might have been a DLC. I might be mistaken though. But yeah, I know you could definitely play as Proto Man, and he has the shield. It just, I don't know. I like some of this. I don't like completely hate the game, but I don't really like some of the stages. I don't really like a lot of the musics. Some of the bosses are kind of annoying to fight, and it just, I don't know. The whole game just kind of drags.
Okay. All right. So, next one on the list here is: was there a Mega Man game that you always wanted to play but just never got around to it?
Who's going first?
So mine, now that I know, so like when Mega Man Legends first came out, which would be Mega Man 64 on the N64, me and my siblings all looked at it and go, "Hey, why isn't Mega Man wearing his helmet? This looks dumb."
I thought the same thing.
So and now that I hear, now I hear how good it is from like everyone that played it on the PlayStation. I'm like, man, I should have. Apparently, I missed out on something, so I still need to try that at some point.
That was my answer as well. Is I never got around. I say I never played Mega Man Legends with a slight caveat because I have a funny story about it. Like I never rented it or owned it or anything. I haven't played through the game. But I went over to a friend's house one time when it was new. I think it was so. Is Mega Man Legends and Mega Man 64 the same thing?
So I believe so. I'm not 100%. I didn't actually look into it.
I think 64 is like a stripped down version of Legends. Like it is Legends, but I think it's missing some content.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So yeah, I went over to my friend's house and he was playing Mega Man 64 and he was at the final boss of the game. And he said he had been playing it for like an hour or something. He kept dying. He couldn't beat the final boss. I've never touched the game before. I come in and I beat the final boss of the game on my first try. He was so pissed. It was hilarious. So that's the only thing Mega Man 64 I ever played was the final boss. I don't know anything else about the game.
Was he still your friend afterwards?
He was. But
okay, that's
funny.
good.
He was so mad that he's like, I've been trying to play it. I played this whole game. I get to the final boss and I can't beat it. You never played it. You come in and beat the boss the first try. That's great.
That's the kind of stuff when you do. You go over to your friend's house, you beat a game that they've never beaten, then you're just not friends anymore.
So, DJ, was there ever one that you wanted to play, just never got around to playing?
Yeah, actually a couple. Mega Man Legends 2, I never got to play. Mega Man 11, I still haven't played. And Melee K, this one's for you. Since she talked about it, I've never played Battle Network, and now I want to.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Mega Man Battle Network. The only one I did play was 3, which I have some things outside the game to say about that, which I'll get to a little later, but I enjoyed the game. One thing that I just remember off the top of my head that I always remember is when you load up your save, it shows you your playtime. But the clock stops counting at 99 hours and 59 minutes. So I have no idea how many actual hours because I played it a lot of hours after I hit that 99-hour cap. So I probably played that for probably close to 200 hours, but I don't know how much it was because the timer stopped counting. Okay. So next one, it'll be a lot of fun with this one is which Mega Man game do you think has the best music? I think Geno and I are probably going to have the same answer on this one. But go ahead, Geno, and I'll see if my suspicion is correct.
So I love the music from X3, but I think it's partially because I've listened to so many remixes of the songs from the game. Like Volt Catfish, there's a remix of that just slaps like way harder than it should. And similar to like X1, someone did a cover of Storm Eagle, and that hit really hard. Same with Spark Mandrill, but that's from Terminal Montages videos from X1. So it's sort of a mix between X3 and X1.
Okay, because shoot, did I? Oh, I did skip a question. Shoot, one of the questions was which Mega Man game is your favorite? So I meant to do that one before this because Mega Man X3 is my favorite out of all of them. because that's the only one I actually owned. X1 and 2, I either rented or borrowed from friends. I didn't actually own them until the X Legacy Collection came out a few years ago. But there's a lot of good music in X3, but I think X1, in my opinion, has the best music. There's a couple. I made a playlist on YouTube of some YouTubers who do. Hey, Paul Hadouken's here. I'll highlight him real quick. What's up, Paul? Just as we're talking about music,
what's
Paul
up?
Hadouken comes in.
Hey, Paul.
Hadouken!
So
Thanks for letting me use your jams.
I've got a playlist on YouTube that I created of a couple people who do like metal covers of like 16-bit video game music, and one of them is Toxic Eternity, and the other one is, of course, the page has to reload here. The Family Jewels, and sorry, Paul Hadouken, I haven't. I've heard your cover of, I think it's Armored Armadillo that Craig uses as the intro for side scrollers. But I haven't actually like listened to the actual one. But I have this playlist of Toxic Eternity and Family Jewels, and they've got some medleys of Mega Man X, and their metal covers are freaking awesome. So Spark Mandrill and Armored Armadillo are the metal covers of those are like my favorite video game music like ever. So, DJ, what about you? Do you have a favorite music?
Should I do favorite music and favorite Mega Man game?
Yeah, let's hit them both.
Okay.
Start with favorite. Which Mega Man game? One particular game is your favorite, and then
Okay. I have a favorite, but I have some honorable mentions, and I know, but my boy Paul is going to agree with me on this. Mega Man 2, best soundtrack ever. Best soundtrack ever. Maybe even the best soundtrack on the NES. I don't care. It's so good. Just
I'll have to go back and listen to it because it's been a long time.
It's so good. Not every song is a 10 out of 10, but so many of them are. You know, Wily's Castle 1, Airman, Bubble Man, Metal Man. Just I did a 2-part back in the day when I did Retro Remix on Screw Attack. I did 2 episodes dedicated to Mega Man 2 for that reason. It was my favorite. I wanted to give it
Paul agrees.
Yeah, see, Paul knows what's up. But I will give some honorable mentions to Mega Man 3, 5, 7, 9, and X1. All of those also have some really good musics. Maybe not quite as many as 2, but some of them I would say are actually arguably better than some songs in Mega Man 2, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean.
Okay, cool. I definitely agree with what both of you guys said about any Mega Man X1 song. They're just amazingly good. If I had to pick a number 2, like second best favorite soundtrack, it would be X1. It's just that good.
Yeah, nice.
And it kind of goes without saying that my favorite Mega Man game is also Mega Man 2. It was the first one I played. I was just in love with the Blue Bomber ever since. Just I couldn't get enough. I actually played Mega Man 1 after Mega Man 2.
Okay.
And
you ruined the story.
Yeah, and just like every other kid back then, I couldn't beat Mega Man 1, like for the life of me. I could beat Mega Man 2 even on difficult, but I couldn't beat Mega Man 1 until many, many years later. But I also think, just like with some of the soundtracks, I think Mega Man 3, 5, 7, and 9 are also really, really good Mega Man games. I don't know what's up with the other even-numbered Mega Man games. They're not bad. I just don't like them as much as 2, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Just if you, I would say those ones are the best. But yeah, 2 is by far the best.
It's kind of like Star Trek. I think the even number ones are more well regarded than the odd number. Or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not really big Trekkie, but I know that Star Trek has that stigma where like every other one is good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Windows operating systems too, where it's like the odd number ones are good too.
Go back to Windows 95.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Windows 3.1. That was the one I grew up on.
Yeah, same.
So, okay. Oh, so Geno, since we missed it on you, if you had to pick a single Mega Man game, what's your single favorite?
So this was really hard when I was looking at it because I have like 3 favorites, but it's not because it's the best Mega Man or whatever the best Mega Man game. It's based on
just
the
what's your favorite?
series. So Mega Man 2 from the classic series is my favorite Mega Man game.
Okay.
Nice.
X3 was my favorite X game, and then 03 was my favorite Zero game.
Okay.
Like other than that, I have no like other favorites, I should say. But I sort of broke it up by a series in that regard.
I played all the Zeros like back to back, so they all blend together. So I don't know what happened in which Zero game.
So the biggest issue with 1 and 2 was 0, 1, and 2 had the equipment upgrade. So like you had to use it so many times to actually fully upgrade it. Where X3 you just had all of your X3 just all the equipment was you didn't have to do any upgrading, you had it and then you got the 2 extras before you actually started the real story or the real game.
You said X3. Did you mean 03?
Both. So there was Mega Man 2, X3, and then 03.
Oh, you're comparing X3 and 03. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to differentiate because the games are so different. Like I can't pick one over the other if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying that I played all 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like all
Yeah,
back to back.
0, 1, and 2 is you had an upgrade system where you had to use the weapons so much or the items so much to upgrade it to max before you could actually use it to its full capacity. Where 3 just like it didn't have that and it just let you here have fun with these weapons, do your thing.
Okay. Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I do remember grinding some of those to get them up to like level 3 or whatever the max level was for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So, so on one of so I think Mega Man, like I said, Mega Man X, I think has the overall best music. But like a month or two ago, Craig did an evening stream where he was just doing video game music, and I super chatted with him to play the Doppler Stage 1 from Mega Man X3.
Mm-hmm.
And he played that.
Slaps.
That's one of my favorite songs from the X3 soundtrack.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, got the music. Okay, so here's a fun one. So, oh, yeah. Okay. So, what do you think is not? So we're gonna do hardest boss. But that's a different one. That'll be, I think, the next question. But what was like the most annoying boss? Probably, if I had to pick, I've got a couple here but the one that comes to mind is like the most annoying. I don't even remember which game it came from. I want to say it was X4, but it might have been X5. Geno, you'll probably know better. But it was the spider comes down and goes like right and
X4.
left, and it changes every time. You have to predict where it's going.
That's X1. X1. You're talking in the Sigma stage, right? The one that drops down on the like slide or the what are they called? The different poles, and it changes that's X1.
That was X1? Oh, I thought that was like X4 or X5. Okay.
X4 had the other spider that just came down, shot out a web. Right? Yeah.
Okay, because was this what I'm thinking about? Was that an actual boss or was that a mini boss?
That was an actual boss, but it was the first Sigma stage boss.
Sigma stage. Okay. That guy was so annoying because I never know where it's going to land. And then if you have like 1 second to shoot it, and then you have to wait for it to go through its cycle again and hope you don't get hit by it so you can shoot it. That thing was annoying.
It's really hard, but you can Hadouken him.
Do you have... Oh, yeah, I guess you would have the Hadouken by then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I bet you that's probably what I did. But that wasn't the first thing that came to mind, so I remember struggling with that boss a lot before I finally beat it.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Geno?
So I actually was thinking it is really hard for me to decide, but I just thought of one while we were talking. And you remember the I forget which boss it is, but the one in X7 that splits into 3, and you have to hit the right one.
Oh,
but the entire time he's screaming and yelling, "Burn to the ground!"
Oh, that guy!
And as soon as I heard annoying, I'm like, "Oh my god, I forgot about this boss, and he is the worst."
I think I blocked that out of my memory because I think when I played that boss, I turned the volume down so he would shut up.
They jumped on top of his camel thing, and I'm like, "No, I'm not going up there." And then I had to. I'm like, "No."
Okay. That's a good one.
That's a really good choice. Oh boy.
DJ, how about you?
Okay. I already mentioned him earlier. I hate Burner Man. Oh, he's
Okay.
such. Can I say he's a prick? Because he is. He's a giant prick. I hate that guy. Okay, so
Go through some catharsis and release your anger towards Burner Man.
All right, I need a deep breath. Okay, so the annoying thing about Burner Man, first of all, his room has spikes in it. So just like with
death?
yeah, he has instant death spikes. So just like with Cloud, yeah, Bubble Man, Cloud Man, any boss where there's like a pit or spikes, it's already a red flag. Like, you know, the warning sirens are already going off. The way you have to hit Burner Man is you have to push him onto the spikes using Cold Man's weapon. So what Cold Man's weapon does is it makes this like ice platform that you can run into and it moves, but it has like ice physics. You have to like push that into him and knock him into the spikes, and then he takes damage. But the annoying thing is that Burner Man has his flamethrower, and I think he'll actually melt the platform if you don't push it fast enough, or he'll just jump over it. It's such an obnoxious fight. It's like needlessly difficult. But as always, I have a couple of honorable mentions from classic Mega Man games that are they're not as annoying, but they're still they're just a pain to fight. Gutsman from Mega Man 1. He throws, like, he jumps up, he shakes the ground, and then he throws a bomb, like, basically wherever you're standing. So if you're not jumping when he does, you usually take damage. It's almost easier to fight him with the Buster than to use his weakness.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that in, like, a video
it's
about bosses.
Yeah, he's not the most annoying thing ever. Like, if you get him just right on a hyper bomb, he takes like a ton of damage, but he's just like needlessly difficult. Quickman is another one that's just I know these last couple ones are from Mega Man 2. It's my favorite game, but there's some things about it that it just drives me up a wall, which tells you how much I love the game or how much I love to suffer. I don't know which. I'll let you decide. But yeah,
I have a similar thing. One of my favorite games of all time is also one of the hardest games I've ever played, which is Ninja Gaiden Black.
Oh, you poor soul.
One of my favorite games of all time, but I think I've raged more at that game than any other game in my life.
You have to love it. If that's your favorite game, you have to love it. But yeah, the thing about Quickman that makes me mad is even if you use his weakness, which is Flash Stopper, it only takes off half his health bar. So you still have to duel him with either like Air Shooter or something else like that.
And if you run out of ammo, he's only half health?
Yeah, so if you get to Quickman and you have a full Flash Stopper, which is his weakness, it stops him, but it only drains half his health bar. So you have to drain the other half of his health bar with other weapons. It's BS. Yeah, it's BS. He's not the worst though. Like he kind of has a pattern. You can sort of get the rhythm down, and if you have an E-tank, it's not too bad. One of the most annoying things though, and I probably almost want to make this the most annoying thing, but it's in Mega Man 2, and I can't hate it. Are either of you two familiar with the Boo Beam trap in Wily's Castle 4 in Mega Man 2?
The what beam?
It's called the Boo Beam, not the Boob Beam, Geno, just Boo Beam.
Right, the Boo Beam.
Yeah, the Boo Beam. They're these little like stationary turrets, and I think there's 7 of them in the boss room.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
Yeah,
God, I hate those.
Everyone hates that boss because it's only weak to Clash Bomber.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to. There's these like breakable walls in the boss room. Yeah, you have to do it in a very specific pattern, or you run out of Clash Bomber, and you basically have to die and go farm some more to beat the boss. It's probably one of the worst designed bosses in any Mega Man game, and of course, it's in my favorite game.
And that was
I didn't know that was their name.
The boss was Boo Beam.
Yeah, it
was 7 Boo Beams, or something like that.
Yeah, it's 7 of them, but yeah, it's called the Boo Beam Trap.
Okay. Yeah, I played through all of them, so I did that at some point. I just
hated that so much.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing to deal with, but it is really obnoxious, especially if it's your first time there.
Mm-hmm.
So that reminded me of another one. I'm pretty sure it was from a Mega Man game. It could have been something. It could have been something else. But you'll have to refresh my memory. But I just remember fighting a boss that's a platform and then a gap and then a platform and a gap and then another platform, and that's where the boss is. and he'll shoot gusts at you, so you can easily fall in those holes and die. Have to start all over again. Does that sound familiar?
That sounds like Airman stage, I think.
I feel
Better.
like it was like a Wily stage boss, but it's been so long. It might even be a different franchise. I just remembered it seemed like a Mega Man thing, and it just came back to my memory. Like I remember doing that so many times. I kept falling in those stupid holes because the gust would keep pushing me in. That was really annoying.
So you remember X5? It was the Pegasus stage. I forget what his name is, but the horse, the flying horse thing. So his stage was just a platform with the two edges, and he just sort of sprinted at you every once in a while and could launch you into those pits. And it was the worst.
Ooh.
Maybe that could have been it. I've got the list.
He also threw tornadoes at you, but I don't remember them flinging you across the screen.
Okay.
Do you know if it could have been?
Probably wasn't that one then.
Do you know if it could have been Tengu Man stage? Because I know that stage also has wind in it that can like push you back.
It could have been, but I remember. I think when I played, what was Tengu Man in? He was in 9.
No, he was in.
He was in 8 in Mega Man and Base, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember whatever one he was in. I think I started with Tengu Man, and I didn't have a whole lot of trouble beating him. And then when I came back and fought him again, I had a lot of trouble beating him the second time. So, anyway, Gino, did you talk about most annoying?
Yeah, the burn to the ground.
Okay.
Pretty much every boss in X7, because the 3D plane just is not. It's not a good time.
Okay. So now the next one was hardest boss. I have 3, probably a tie between 3. So the first one that came to mind that made me think of this question was from Mega Man Battle Network 3. Because in order to get like 100% completion, you have to get all 7 stars on the start screen, and each one's a different color, and you get each one for doing something different. Like one of them is for beating the story, one of them is for collecting all the battle chips. I don't even remember what they were all for, but one of them was for beating Bass. I've always called him Bass, but it's Bass, right?
Yeah, it's Bass.
Yeah.
Okay. So is Bass like the 3rd or 4th time you beat him? He's an optional secret boss in Mega Man Battle Network 3 that you can fight like after fighting the final boss of the game. It was like Bass GS or something like that. And the thing that was so freaking hard about this guy was that he has an aura around him that you have to do enough damage to the aura first before you can even start damaging his health. And it's not like you can whittle it down. You have to do a single attack that does as much or more damage than the HP on his aura, which I think was 200. And there's not even that many attacks in the game that even do 200 attack and 200 damage in a single attack. But so you had to get that down before you could start attacking his health. And it only drops for like 10 seconds, and then it comes back, and you got to drop it again to keep doing damage to him. And his attacks hit like a freight train. So this dude was hard as all heck to beat. I remember when I finally beat him, I was like over the moon because I'd probably spent dozens of hours trying to beat this guy. I think the thing that did it for me that finally allowed me to beat him is I threw a chip into my rotation. I think it was called Holy Ground or something. And if you're not familiar with Battle Network, it's a 6x3 grid where you have a 3x3 grid and they have a 3x3 grid. So across is 6 and then it's 3 down. So you have 9 squares each. And he can damage your squares so that you lose them, so you can't move around as much, which makes it hard to dodge attacks. But the Holy Ground will refresh that, and when you're on one of the Holy Ground spaces, it caused you to take half damage. Once I threw that in, I was finally able to beat that guy. That was probably one of the hardest Mega Man bosses I ever fought. So I got a couple others, but I'll let you guys go first, and I'll touch back on them. So,
Oh, you've
Gino,
got
what
another
about
person
you?
in chat.
Hey, Internet Crusader. I don't think I'm familiar with you. Welcome. Glad you're here.
What's up?
Hey, buddy.
So,
Do you want to go first, DJ, or?
Hardest boss?
hardest
Yeah.
boss in the Mega Man
Okay.
franchise?
Okay, this one's actually not from classic Mega Man. It's actually from Mega Man X.
Oh, okay.
That the final boss in Mega Man X3, the Sigma's like battle body or whatever it's called.
Okay.
I hate that thing.
I was considering putting that on my list because his attacks do so
Yeah.
much damage, and you have so
Mhm.
little room to move around.
Yeah,
He's got
it's the
tracking missiles.
it's the
Mhm.
homing missiles do like a quarter of your health bar. I think it's way too much.
And the mines do even more.
Yeah, they do a lot. You don't have a lot of room. You have to like dash under him when he like moves, or you're gonna get like squished against the wall. And he has the worst part is he has that super tiny hitbox on his head
Mhm.
that you have to hit just right, or just no
a
damage.
tiny little hitbox.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Without the Z Saber, that one is a royal pain. With the Z Saber, it's a lot easier, but you still gotta aim it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Since Mega Man X3 is the one I am the most familiar with. So, what about you, Gino?
So for me, I have two that you guys will know, and one that you won't know because it's from Command Mission.
Oh, I
But
wonder
so-
if it's this one that Internet Crusader just talked about.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what
No.
that is, so you're gonna have to tell us about it.
So I'll go with my first two since you probably know them. So Yellow Devil from Mega Man 1 without the lightning exploit or without the electricity exploit.
Ooh, that's a
That was
good
one. Of
one.
my other ones I was gonna mention was Yellow Devil. That thing is pure evil.
And then the other version of him in X5 X5 where he's the black devil, I think.
Black Devil.
And
I
the
remember
thing
him showing up in one of the X games again.
I found out he was super easy if you can like cheat him. So if you go to like the corner of the screen and just jump while he's doing his move across the screen, you can just jump to the other side after he's done when he's in the puddle form and dash across. I'm like, this is dumb. But then he turns into one of those giant robots after you get him below, I think it's a quarter health. He turns into like a little robot that drives across the screen and stabs you with spikes.
I do remember that.
And then the other one that you guys, I agree with the X3 Sigma's battle body. Because until I knew about the Z Saber, I'm like, where do I hit this guy? And
Yep.
then I'm like, oh, I see his head flashing, but that doesn't help me. I can't aim it. I keep hitting the rest of his body.
Yeah, and he does that like laser thing where it shoots
Yeah.
down or shoots up and takes up like the top quarter or bottom quarter of the
Mhm.
screen. And that thing will do a ton of damage if you get caught in it. So you gotta trick him into shooting down and then jump up on the wall and shoot him. And then make sure you don't land in the laser before it disappears.
I think
Right.
that laser did like damage over time. It felt like where it would.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it
hits you like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's terrible. Just
So then going.
What's this nine-tailed fox?
So after you beat the game, there are two secret special armors that you can get that are like little like in-fight boosts that you can use. It's I forget what it's called, but it's like the drive, and you have like a set amount of turns you can use it. But to get Zero's special, which actually turns him into like a vampire, you have to fight this secret boss. It was the nine tails fox, and so you have to fight through each tailed version of him, and he gets stronger with each one, but you don't get a break in between. You just have to fight through all the way up to 9, and I think each time there's like, I forget if it's 2 of them or there's like 2 little underlings in front of him that are just the tail below. It's been so long since I've done that, but the juice is definitely worth the squeeze on that because the ultimate armor for Zero is so broken.
Nice. So that definitely sounds like quite a gauntlet of a boss fight.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, that sounds brutal. So nine fights back to back then.
Mm-hmm. And you can't. Well, what's at least sort of nice is you can switch party members like during the fight as long as they aren't already incapacitated.
Okay.
But
Okay,
Yeah.
so you already mentioned one of my other runner-ups was the Yellow Devil. The other one, I don't remember which Mega Man it was, but it was the final form of Wily. I think it was in 1, 2, or 3, where he was only vulnerable to one weapon, and if you're out of that ammo, you're screwed. You can't beat him. Do
I
you
think
remember
that
which one that was?
Mega Man
I-
2 with the bubble.
there's that one, but I think in Mega Man 7, it's the same kind of deal. The final form of Wily is obnoxious, and he's only weak to. Oh, what weapon was it? I can't even remember which one it was, but it's like he only has that one weakness, and if you run out, you're just boned.
Okay. I don't remember it on 7, but I do remember it on, yeah, I want to say it was Mega Man 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's like, and then if you run out, you got to like die and go grind enemies
Yep.
to fill up your tanks again, and then go try it again.
If it's Mega Man 2, it's even worse because there's nothing to grind on if you get to the alien Wily. Like, if you run out of bubble lead or bubble lead, whichever you choose to call it, and you die, you're just gonna have to game over. Like, you can't beat him. You can't hit him with anything but bubble lead.
Yeah, because you don't get your ammo back when you die.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
And this was before weapon tanks too, so you couldn't even get your weapon energy back.
Yeah, it's like, who designed this?
But it's my favorite game. What's wrong with me?
Glutton for punishment.
I am. I love to suffer. Apparently.
So on the flip side of that, what was your favorite boss?
Ooh, who's going?
So before we jump off that subject, I
Okay.
found out a funny thing doing my Buster only run of X4. You can't hit Sigma's first form with just the Buster. You have to hit him with Rising Fire.
So you can't even beat it doing Buster only?
Right.
It just ruins your playthrough. Well, gee, thanks. I wish I would have known that ahead of time. And Sigma's just like, screw your Buster run.
Yeah, and so I was like, cool, I'm gonna like at first I was just gonna do the 8 Mavericks, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do the whole game, and then I got the first form, and it's like, oh, they're just deflecting off of him.
Well,
Well, all right. So, big gulp, huh? All right. Well, see you later. Okay. So, favorite boss in the franchise?
Who's-
Geno?
So I forget what I wrote down, but I think Volt Catfish, because I loved his level
Okay.
more so than the actual boss in and of itself, but I've never just done Buster only with them, because with the special weapons, the X3 bosses are like complete cake.
Yeah. Was Volt Catfish, was that no, you get the triad from Volt Catfish. Which
Right,
on
you use-
Crushed Crayfish.
Right, you use the Tunnel Rhino on
Tunnel Rhino. Okay.
Volt Catfish, and you hit him, and he's just like, ah.
Yeah, that's right. He just gets stunned there, and you just keep hitting with it until he's dead, and you don't even have to worry about getting hit. That's right.
Yeah. But I also really like Storm Eagle's stage. Even though he's sort of an annoying, like a slightly annoying boss, his stage and his theme just, they hit so hard, and it's really like, that's the first like sort of vertical level that they had in X, that and Boomerang Kawanger.
Boomer Quanger.
that's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should have separated that out into separate questions, like favorite stage and favorite boss.
Mhm.
But yeah, Storm Eagle is definitely a great stage.
It
But yeah,
It kind of works as one question though, because sometimes the stage makes the boss. Like the
Yeah.
approach to the boss.
yeah, because the themes of the levels play so well. At least in the X franchise, you'd have to tell me more so on the OG series, but in the X franchise, at least in X 1, 2, and 3, which are the ones I'm most familiar with and are my favorite of the X franchise, each
Mhm.
stage plays so well into the theme of the boss.
Definitely.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Crushed Crayfish was one of my runner-up for most annoying bosses, because he just gets that clamp and just keeps hitting you
Yeah.
and dropping your health. It's like, let go of me so I can fight you.
And he has the little things he throws out that pin you
yeah,
to
those
the
little-
floor for like 3 seconds so he can grab you and pinch you some more.
Yeah, that was one of my runners up for most annoying bosses. But for I don't know, maybe consider me a masochist as well. But probably one of my favorite boss fights was was the first Sigma stage, or not the first stage of a Sigma, but the final battle where you fight Sigma, first form and then second form. The first form of, was it X? Was it the first form in X? Is that the one where he has the lightsaber?
Yeah, he's the Jedi.
Okay. I that was probably one of my favorites, just because that was like one of the, like, I felt, that's because I got really, really good at that fight, and I could beat him pretty much without taking damage. So I have I really love that boss fight, and he has a lightsaber, and I'm a big Star Wars guy, so I really like that one. But I know that one may be controversial since he can do a lot of damage.
The timing to Hadouken him is also like a split second, or you have to like back up for a second, let him do his like one jump off the wall a couple times, and then you can hit him just fine.
Okay, Crusader here, who I think I missed it when he came in, but he says it's Imp Black Belt from Discord.
Yeah.
So we got a couple masochists here in the stream, so we can all commiserate together.
We're in good company, at least.
But one thing I was going to mention, I think the reason why I got so really good at him was, are you guys familiar with Mega Man Extreme? Do you know what that game was?
I've played them. I have not beaten them, but the GBA or the Game Boy versions of Mega Man X.
Yeah, so I never played Mega Man Extreme 2, but I know they introduced Zero as a playable character, but I had Mega Man Extreme 1, which was a Game Boy Color game, and it was basically a mashup of Mega Man X and Mega Man X2. It had like 4 bosses from Mega Man X, like Chill Penguin, but it had 4 bosses from Mega Man X2, because I remember Wheelgator was in it as well. And the final boss of the game was Sigma from X, and his first form was his lightsaber form. And that's where I got really good at fighting him. So that's probably why he's one of my favorite. So what about you, DJ? Do you have a favorite boss and or stage?
Yeah, actually. So at first I only had one, but since you mentioned favorite stage, I'll add in my runner-up, because his stage music is probably at least in my opinion, the best music in the classic Mega Man games, and that would be Galaxy Man.
Okay.
Oh, his music is so good. It's so good. I can't stress enough. He's actually not a bad boss fight either. Like, he's not really hard. Usually he's like the first guy you fight in Mega Man 9. But man, his stage music is it's such a banger. I love it. I need to remix it one of these days, and I will. I'm saving it for something special.
Some great 8-bit music.
Yeah, definitely. But my actually favorite Mega Man boss is actually from an X game. It's Magma Dragoon from X3.
Oh, he's
X4.
fun. Or X4. He's fun.
X4, I'm sorry. X4, not X3.
Yeah, he's a cool boss.
Yeah.
Any time Capcom has a boss from, like another franchise that uses Street Fighter moves,
he's
magnificent.
He's basically Ryu,
yeah.
right?
He's basically Ryu from Streets. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not I play a lot of different genres of games, but fighting games is not one of them. So
it's all good.
I know, like, I could probably name most of the Street Fighter characters and some of the Mortal Kombat characters, but other than that, like, I don't. The only fighting game I ever do is like what I call baby's first fighters. I love Smash Bros, but it's not really a fighting game. It's more of a party game.
I think so. Yeah. Go ahead, Gino.
Geez, never played Clay Fighter 63 and a third? Who are you?
I played it at a friend's back in the day, but never played it for more than a few minutes. But okay, so Inner Crusader here says Mega Man and Bass had great music.
It did.
So I never played that one, so I wouldn't know. But cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, getting down here to the end, I think this question, I think Geno suggested this one. Favorite special weapon?
So, yeah.
Did you suggest that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, You go ahead and start off with that one.
So the one I actually like the most, because I found, well, two of them I actually really like the most. X3, the Triad Thunder.
Okay. I was
so,
thinking about that one.
So running around through the stages, like growing up, or even like until recently, I never really used the special weapons except for on the bosses. But then,
I did
like
that too.
going through the stages with Triad Thunder, I'm like, this is so broken.
When you do
Like,
the charge attack where he punches the ground and it like
Yeah,
destroys like everything.
Well, even just like the regular, it one shots basically everything, all the small enemies throughout the corridors. Like whenever you leave, fighting Vile in his Mark II armor, and you like go through, you're destroying those like little drill pillars in one hit as long as you like come in contact with it with the Triad Thunder.
I don't think I've ever used a Triad Thunder while fighting Vile. So next time in my playthrough,
Or
I'll
not fighting Vile, but like right after that corridor as you're running to beat the clock to escape.
Oh, to get to the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
And the little drill things that like the head goes up and then it lowers down slowly. They get one shot by Triad Thunder.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, those things will slow you down because you have to wait forever to kill them. Okay. That I'd never thought to use that, but that makes a lot of sense. It's basically like a shield.
Mm-hmm. And then like you were talking, I love the charge, how it's like, oh, you expect like a bunch of electricity to happen, but no, it's just Mega X punching the ground really hard.
And you have to use that to get a couple of the power-ups because they're stuck behind the rocks that you have to drop using that ability.
The 2 in Tunnel Rhino, his stage.
Yeah.
And then the other one is from X1 Storm Tornado. Because I didn't realize, so like you can really easily kill Flame Mammoth like in like 3 or 4 hits. Because you can get him like hit multiple times with just one tornado.
Yeah, because it's kind of slow, so you can hit him a couple of times.
And then it's also a very good screen just wiper of enemies because it just shoots straight across at like a whole bunch of enemies at once.
So, Internet Crusader wanted to mention that some of the bosses in Mega Man Zero are insanely difficult. Locking the upgrade chips behind A and S ranking. Yeah. S rank. Love S ranks.
The only Zero game I've actually gotten all of the like saber upgrade or the saber attack or special attacks was X or 03, and I just did that recently actually.
Okay. I don't think I ever bothered with or at least not all of the ranks unless it was tied to I played the Legacy collection and the Legacy X collection on Xbox. So if there was an achievement for it, I did that. But if there wasn't, I didn't bother with the ranks. So, DJ, do you have a favorite special weapon?
I do. I'm gonna go in the same vein as Geno here and just pick the most broken classic Mega Man weapon ever conceived. And that would be.
I know where you're going with this, but
that's going to be Metal Blade from Mega Man 2.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
You can beat the entire game almost with Metal Blade. It's basically just a direct upgrade to the pea shooter. At eight directions. I think it pierces some enemies too. Like if the enemy gets killed in a single hit, it'll just move on to the next target. So you can just. You can just spam it. Like you can go completely ham in the game. I love it. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's good.
I think it's funny because even Metal Man is weak against his own attack.
Yes, he's weak against his own weapon.
I don't think I knew that until sometime recently. I was watching I think it was like a What Culture Gaming video with a list of like bosses that are like weak to their own attacks, and I think Metal Man was on there.
It's not like his main weakness, but it definitely still damages him, which is just hilarious.
Okay, so my top pick, I kind of already mentioned it. I don't know if you consider it a special weapon since it doesn't come from beating one of the robot masters / bosses, but the Z Saber in X3 because it's just so OP. But I've had to pick like an actual boss weapon. despite it being slow, I like Tunnel Rhino's Tornado. Is it Tornado Fang?
I'm turning the air.
I
Tunnel
think
Rider's Tornado. I'm pretty sure it's Tornado Fang.
I'm pretty sure it's called Tornado Fang. So I remember when, because I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but X3 was the only cartridge of the original X trilogy that I owned, but I didn't even own it when it came out. I rented it, and I actually found it at GameStop years later, and bought it. So I never actually owned any of them when they were out. I either rented or played them at a friend's house. But I remember when I rented X3, and I couldn't beat the game, but I remember going online and finding the cheats to get all to get to the end of the game and have all the upgrades, and I was able to test out like all the abilities that I wasn't able to get myself. And I remember Tornado Fang was like my favorite, because you could shoot one and then another, and you can shoot like 3 of them at a time.
Yeah,
and it can hit enemies that are vulnerable to it. It can hit them multiple times.
Nice.
In the first Doppler stage in X3, depending, I don't even remember what causes it, but the boss at the end of the first stage of X3, it can be 2 different bosses depending on, I think it's based on whether you beat Bite and Bit or not. Because similar to X2, where you have what were those 3 guys that
the X Hunters?
Yeah, the X Hunters. X3 has a similar thing with Bit and Bite. Well, they'll show up randomly, and I think if you don't beat them, you get 1 boss, and if you do beat both, you get a different boss. And his weakness is the Tornado Fang, but it's like this elephant thing. You want to hit him at the top of his head with the Tornado Fang, and it does tons of damage. But if you do it just a little bit lower and you hit his trunk, after too much damage, the trunk will break and it'll fill the entire bottom of the stage with acid, which makes the fight way more difficult.
He's the junk robot. I'm pretty sure that's what his name is.
Yeah, the junk robot. Okay, it's Intercators. He had some hard time with X3. That's my favorite. He beat on an emulator. He didn't have a SNES. Yeah, SNES was what got me in the game when my grandparents got it for me for Christmas one year, and that's what turned me into a gamer. You get Zero's parts in X2 for beating the 3 X Hunters, and if you do that, then near the end of the game, normally you would have to fight like an evil Zero, but if you collect all the parts, real Zero will show up and beat him, so it saves you a fight.
Yeah, that's what I screwed up in my playthrough, and I missed one of the X Hunters.
Yeah, if you defeat too many of the bosses too soon, you'll lose your chance to fight all the X Hunters. So you got to really plan it out. It's kind of a similar thing with Bit and Bite in X3. If you want to beat both of them, if you beat too many bosses, because I'm pretty sure in X3 the Bit and Bite arenas are optional, so you can bypass them. But if you beat too many of the bosses, then you'll lose your chance to beating both Bit and Bite.
So in X3 they actually have set like time frames that they're supposed to show up, or set like stage numbers they're supposed to show up.
Yes.
But the trick is you have to beat them with their weakness. If you don't beat them with their weakness, then they just like, we'll get you next time, and they just go off. If you beat them with their weakness, they explode. No, X3. X2 is...
Yeah, you're right. X3, if you don't beat them with their weakness, then they won't count as actually being defeated. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and X2, whether you beat them or not, doesn't matter, because you still have to fight them in the Sigma stages.
Okay. But if you don't fight them, then you won't get the
then
Zero.
You have to fight Zero. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right, so the next one we got here, I think DJ suggested this one. Favorite fan game. I think Geno and I might have the same answer on this one. But I'll let DJ you go ahead and start with this one.
Okay. I actually have 2. One of them is a game, one of them not so much, but I think if you love Mega Man games, you should definitely hear about the second one. But anyways, the first one is the actual fan game. That would be Mega Man Unlimited. It's probably you have or have not.
I have not.
Okay, definitely. If you like classic Mega Man, it's probably the best Mega Man fan game. It's been out for years. It's really good. It has some really really good musics. It's I would say like it's the closest thing to like before we got Mega Man 11. I actually used to say it's basically my Mega Man 11 until 11,
Okay.
11 came out.
Gotcha. It's like the spiritual successor to 10.
Yeah, exactly. Or in my case, it would be like the Mega Man 10 good version. The other one I think everyone should hear about is Mega Man Maker.
Oh yeah, I've heard about
Is that
that.
basically Mario Maker, but for Mega Man?
Yes, you can make.
Okay.
You
I've
can
heard
make.
of it.
It's completely free. It's been out for 5 years now. I've actually made some levels in it and published them. It's super good. If you want to make gimmick levels, you could do that. If you want to make like traditional like classic Mega Man levels, you can do that. There's so much stuff to it. Like they haven't added too much lately. Ever since I think they did like the 1.8 update, but they have just tons and tons of stuff from like just about every classic Mega Man, and I think they even have like stuff from the Game Boy games and Mega Man in base now, which is just unheard of.
Okay, I was going to ask: is it all in the style of classic Mega Man, or
Yes,
you can choose, like if you want to make a level in like an X type of game level?
Yeah, so like you what you're wondering is if it's like 8 and 16-bit, or like how Mario Maker will let you do different motifs. It's sadly it's only 8-bit. They did toy with the idea of doing like a 16-bit palette, but there is just so much in there already. Like it would I don't think they'd ever be done with it if they did like the 16-bit palette. There is seriously tons to that game.
If there was, because like Mega Man X is my favorite Mega Man series, so if they had a Mega Man X Maker,
oh yeah,
there might not be any other game I ever play again.
Yeah, we'd never see you again.
Created levels.
Yeah,
like if you can download other people's created levels, I don't know if I'd play any other game.
Yeah, you'd go missing. We'd never see you again. You know what though? There is a Mega Man X fan game that it's still not out yet, and I hope that. I hope this.
I know where you're going with that because that was going to be my answer.
Okay, you know what? I won't cover that. Then I've already talked enough. So if that's your answer, I don't want to take it from you. So you or Geno, go for it.
If it ends up being one of us is gonna say, then go ahead and mention it afterwards.
Okay, we'll do.
Go ahead, Geno, because I think
I'll let you go because I think I'm gonna have a combination of both of yours.
Okay,
Nice.
So if my guess is correct on what you were about to say, DJ, is Mega Man X Corrupted?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. So I had a feeling that's where you're going to go with that because I am. I don't know if aficionado would be a strong enough word, but like my genre of expertise is Metroidvania games, and I'm I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm an Xbox guy. I'm a completionist, and so if you're into achievements or achievement hunting at all, you're probably on the website True Achievements, and you can use it to track different genres. And my goal is to get to the top of the Metroidvania leaderboard. I'm currently 19th globally, so I'm pretty high up there. But Metroidvania games are like my forte, I really, really, really like Metroidvania games.
Yeah, same.
Is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and this is a combination of them. And it kills me that JKS or JKB, I forget what his online name is. He's been working on Mega Man X Corrupted for probably 12 years, and it's still not done. But if this game ever gets finished, it could easily be my favorite game of all time. Because it's like combining my favorite genre and one of my favorite franchises. And it blows my mind that we don't have a Mega Man Metroidvania game, because just how Mega Man plays, like the franchise, just melds so perfectly with a Metroidvania style gameplay. I don't understand why there's no official Metroidvania Mega Man game. So if Mega Man X Corrupted ever comes out, it could be my favorite game of all time.
You'd figure Capcom would read the room with Metroidvanias and be like, what could we do with Mega Man? Yeah, maybe one of these Metroidvanias that the kids are playing. Nah, they don't care about Mega Man. Let's have another Monster Hunter though.
With all the collectibles and different armor sets, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree.
Exist?
I know it would be perfect if it happens. So hopefully, Corrupted actually gets made, and
I want that game to come out so bad.
I hear you. I keep.
Oh, go ahead, DJ.
Oh yeah, I keep checking the guy's like YouTube page every time he puts up a new trailer, and I'm just like, please come out already. Just stop with the trailers. I want to play you.
Yeah. So Geno, was that was going to be one of your answers as well?
Sort of. So actually, there's another one that I had heard of. I still haven't played it, but it's the Mega Man X Zero project, where they were taking the person was taking Mega Man X3, but making Zero an actual playable character that you could switch, but like you could switch pick between the two, and you actually got the upgrades as Zero. Also,
I stumbled across that while I was doing some research for this stream, and yeah, that looked freaking awesome. I think you can actually download and play it.
Yeah, I haven't dabbled in it, but I heard about it, and I'm like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think I clicked on a link and it took me to a GitHub page. So I think you can download it and play it. I didn't take the time to do it, but it seems like it's an actual playable thing. Because I think I even saw someone selling an actual cartridge. You can put that in your SNES and play it on your TV.
Dang.
Nice.
I think it was like $200 though, or something like that. Something crazy. But it's like, that would be awesome. Because Zero is... did we miss that? Or did we not get to it yet?
Favorite character?
I think I think we might have missed it, but it was going to be, what's your favorite character in the franchise?
Yeah.
Zero was going to be my answer. I love Zero. He's awesome. Even though for years I thought it was a chick until someone told me, like, no, that's a dude. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, it's a cape. It's fine. It's like Proto Man is wearing a cape. But then the other one was... Oh,
go ahead.
So the other one was actually Mega Man Unlimited, and I finally watched someone play through that, and I'm like, he had the hardest time on Yoku Man.
Yeah,
that was secret boss.
Yeah, if we were including fan games for hardest boss or most annoying, I would have included Yoku Man.
Okay, I'll have to check that out because I'm not familiar with that one.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm. And the ending was really good too. The final bosses was perfect. That's what sort of got me intrigued to begin with on Mega Man Unlimited.
If it's the thing that I think this might be another question, but there's something that happens in Mega Man Unlimited that I've wanted Capcom to do forever, and a fan game finally had the guts to do it.
Okay.
I won't spoil it unless you really want to know.
Okay. I think we'll leave it at that, just to not spoil anything then.
Okay.
So, but yeah, one of the things I was going to say about Zero before we move on to the next one is when they finally added, not a whole lot, but they added voice lines to them in X4, I think it was. Like, when you get low on health as X, he sounds like a 12-year-old. It's like, time to get serious. But then
you should hear him in the cutscenes.
But then when Zero gets low on health, he sounds like a man. It's like, it's not over yet. So I just remember X sounding like a baby. It was always really funny compared to Zero's like manly voice, at least in English. I don't know what it sounds like in Japanese.
So I was really happy with their voice actor choices when they got to Command Mission in X8. It's just, those are the voice actors. They need to stay that as long as they can.
They picked some good ones for those then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so I think this is one of the other questions that one of you guys suggested is, in one of the series, whichever series you want to pick, should one of those series ended sooner than it actually did. So we might have a little bit of a disagreement. So Geno, you want to did you think? I'm assuming we're going to say something about X should have ended sooner than it did.
Yeah, so I was actually watching a video and the guy was talking about it that they actually planned to end the series at X5, and that's sort of where the Zero series would like begin.
Okay.
But then I forget what actually caused it, but then they decided to make X6. And I don't want to spoil it, but based on the story from X5 to X6, it didn't like make sense.
Didn't jive.
Yeah, because like
Okay.
do, I don't want to. I mean, you know the series, but I don't want
I
to
think I
spoil things for
remember
like the
when I
viewers.
started X6, I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah,
did I miss something?
yeah, because
So that
X5 killed off Zero, and then X6 is like, oh hey, I was just hiding until I could repair myself.
okay, yeah.
But
I think X5 probably would have been a good place to end it because 6 is not terribly well regarded, and then X7 is just everyone.
mm,
But I really glad that we got X8. I look forward to playing that one again at some point.
oh yeah,
So I wouldn't. I'm glad that it didn't. Although, well, obviously we did end at X5. We never would have known that we would have gotten a terrible game in X7.
right.
I'm overall I'm glad that we did because I thought X8 was good, but it could have gone either way.
They had to stumble up until X8.
Yeah. So, DJ, did you have? Did you? I'm assuming you're probably gonna go with the classic Mega Man. You
Mhm.
should have stopped with 8, is my guess.
Um, mm, I at first I was gonna say 8 might have been a good stopping point, but I actually really like Mega Man 9, so I would actually say Mega Man 10 probably should have been the stopping point, but with the caveat that those like 9 and 10 I think should have come out much sooner than they did. There was that huge gap of I want to say it was like almost 9 or 10 years between Mega
Mhm.
Man 8 and Mega Man 9.
Yeah, it was a
And
big gap.
yeah, and I know they were doing other stuff. I think they were doing the Battle Network games during that time, and I think even some of the Zero games. But
Mhm.
I just wanted some classic Mega Man, and they just they just didn't care. They absolutely didn't care. So even though I haven't played Mega Man 11, I've watched like long plays of it, and it's good. I just don't really think it's like okay. It doesn't feel like a classic Mega Man. The way the power ups work and how there's like I think they're called like time gears or something
Yeah, this
where
has
you can
somewhat
Yeah,
time
there's
ability.
there's
yeah
a speed gear and a power gear.
yeah that's it. And it
Yeah.
just it seems so non Mega Man. It kind of almost seems like it's more like something in one of the X games or like a go between between like Mega Man. It's like not quite Mega Man X, but it's not quite regular Mega Man either.
Like a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I think it should have just been its own thing instead of calling it Mega Man 11. I don't think it's a bad game, but I just don't think it's worthy of making it like a numbered sequel if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I from what I've seen and heard, it seems to be pretty well regarded, and it looks
Yeah.
like a great game. So I am
It,
definitely looking forward to playing it. But I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Mhm.
it and I know it's a different time period, but I guess Mega Man 11 took over as the most sold Mega Man game.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, there's more consoles to play it on now than ever
Mhm.
Yeah.
before.
I think Capcom was really pushing to get it cross-platform on day one, so I mean,
I,
it's a no-brainer that it sold so well.
Yeah.
I want to say that there was like an easy mode in that game too to make it more accessible because it had Mega Man
I don't-
has such a stigma for being a hard franchise.
I'm trying to remember. I'd
I
have to
could be
double
wrong
check
about
mine.
that, but I feel like I remember hearing that somewhere.
The first level took me forever, so I just farmed the bolts. I farmed a bunch of the bolts as I was dying to get all the upgrades.
Oh, nice.
I think I remember doing something similar on Mega Man 7. So, all right, got our last question here. What's your biggest gripe or complaint with the franchise? So I've got a couple on this one, so I'll hold off. GJ, you wanna? Go first.
Sure. Oh, by the way, since I didn't get a chance, my favorite character is also
Oh.
Zero.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's he's just so cool. I mean, even though I'm more of like a classic Mega Man guy, as soon as I saw Zero in Mega Man X, I was just like, okay, best character right here. Just he's got a lightsaber.
Yeah,
How can you not love that? He's just
Laser swords are always cool.
exactly. So the biggest gripe I have with the entire franchise is, um, why won't Capcom ever put some kind of link between the Mega Man series and the Mega Man X series? And I mean, like, in a game, make it canon, have it so like you get to see like Mega Man X being built, or like, you know, Zero being built or something, you know, like in a Mega Man game, and they sort of like pass the torch from Mega Man to Mega Man X.
Okay, yeah, because the only thing that really covers that gap was it in the cartoon?
Yeah, there. As I said, there was that one episode where X comes from the future, and I remember Mega Man tries to fight like Spark Mandrill, and he just gets destroyed by him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the closest they've ever come, and that was just in a cartoon. It wasn't even Capcom doing it.
Okay.
Actually, have you guys seen? I think that was part of it, but the have you guys played Maverick Hunter X?
I have
No.
not.
So it was a reboot of the first one on PS or the Mega Man X on PSP, but it also came with the Day of Sigma, which was like the whole story of like Sigma becoming evil or becoming Maverick, and that sort of delved into like Dr. Light putting X into his capsule for to do his diagnostics check while he was underground before Light died. But then Light died and he got buried, and that's when Dr. Kane finds him. And that sort of tells that story a little bit. So
That was on. What was that? Maverick Hunter X.
Maverick Hunter X. Yeah, it was just. So what was neat about that is it gave a bit more backstory to like that, but also it had more flesh. Like it actually had character dialogue between X and the Mavericks. So actually, when you get to the Sigma stages at that point, when you're refighting the bosses, like the first one you come to, like it's basically just a husk of the original Maverick, and Sigma's just using it as a puppet to delay you, and it's pretty like woo.
Cool. Okay. I felt like I remember. I didn't play that one, but I felt like somewhere there was something that touched on kind of the gap between classic Mega Man and Mega Man X. So maybe that's what it was that I was thinking of.
And there's also Day of Sigma is available on the Legacy Collection as well as an extra.
Heard of that one? Oh wait, is that like a? That's
It's
not
an
an actual game, is it?
No, it's a movie. It's
Okay.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Gotcha. Which Legacy Collection is that in?
X.
Okay. I'll have to boot that up and go take a look at that and see if I missed.
I think it's like a half hour long. It's under the extras.
Oh, nice.
Or either the extras or the gallery.
I think I totally missed that. I'll have to, or I watched it and totally forgot. So I'll have to check that. So, okay. Geno, did you touch on your favorite character?
So, I'd like to say I like X, but I feel like they fleshed out Zero way more in the not only the X series but the Zero series. But that also ties back to the creator of Mega Man X actually really liking Zero and focusing more on Zero than he did on X.
Hey, you're talking about Dr. Kane?
Not the actual person who created him, like the actual creator of the series.
Like in
like
real life,
he preferred Zero to X, and that's why I think Zero got a lot more of the story focus and all that.
Okay, you're talking about like behind the scenes, like the game devs.
Yeah, so of course Axel's my favorite character because I want to make everyone mad. No, I'm kidding. I don't like Axel.
Okay. It's like, what are your hot takes? Axel's the best character in the franchise. Although, like Roll, he's a good boy. I mean, Rush, not Roll. Roll's not a boy. Rush, good boy. So, Okay, so Gina, what do you have any gripes with the franchise?
So I think my biggest gripe with, I don't know if it happened so much with the Mega Man series. It probably did. I just don't remember. But with the X series, it was almost like an oversaturation of like Mega Man games, because there was Mega Man X and Zero going on. There was Battle Network. There was eventually Star Force, and it was just like every like couple months or every year they were coming out with a new version of each game, and it was like, oh.
Because there's so much content in the franchise.
And I think that's sort of what led to like the Mega Man's downfall as a whole, until they brought back Mega Man, like with Mega Man 9.
Mhm.
And then everyone was like, "Oh my god!" But it was like a way down the road sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, they let it breathe for a while.
Yeah,
Completely wear it out, kind of like unlike like Harmonix with Rock Band and Guitar Hero. They just
Yeah,
released,
exactly.
like 10 games in 5 years. Like this is too much.
yeah. Because I think with X5 and X6, it was like X5 was made and X6 was made like less than a year later, or released less than a year after that.
And I think
I wanna
X1,
say.
2, and 3 each came out a year apart.
Yeah,
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So okay, yeah, totally. I mean, if you're super diehard fan of Mega Man, you're like, there's you'd probably be pretty stoked. that you
sensory
have so much Mega
overload.
Man to play. But for anyone who's not like the super diehard, it's like I can't keep up with all of this.
Yeah.
I wanted Mega Man games, but this is ridiculous.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Marvel, and you got to watch all these shows to keep up with the movies. And
Yeah.
when you're lost and you don't know what's going on. Same with Star Wars right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So okay, so I have a couple. The most recent one is that so I have all of the Legacy collections except for one. The most recent one, because they decided to put it on everything except Xbox. All the other Legacy collections are on Xbox except the new Mega Man Battle Network Legacy collection.
That's great.
It's
That's
on
nuts.
Switch and PlayStation. It's not on Xbox.
Why? Why would
is
they do that?
I'm an Xbox guy. So I remember someone in a stream saying something about like the hardware couldn't handle it. I'm like, but a Switch can? Yeah,
It's a Game Boy Advance game, right?
Yeah, it's Battle Network was Game Boy Advance, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Star Force, I think, was when it moved to DS.
Mhm.
And then they had the one GameCube version, which was more of a side scroller, like a typical Mega Man, but with the Mega Man EXE.
Mhm.
Which one is that?
That one was just called Mega Man Battle Network NT Warriors, I think. Like it was sort of tied to the anime, but it was a GameCube game.
I think I saw that once, but I forgot that existed. But yeah, so that's a big gripe of mine that the newest one is on everything except Xbox, which makes zero sense. Speaking of Mega Man Battle Network, I don't think Melee K is still here, but this is where my gripe with Mega Man Battle Network is. Mega Man Battle Network 3, they pulled a Pokemon and they split it into 2 games. So
yeah.
Mega Man Battle Network White and Blue, and then all the Mega Man Battle Network games after that were split into 2 games. Where Mega Man Battle Network 1 and 2 were a full game in just one
by
thing.
themselves. Yeah,
but in 3 on, they split it so that only certain chips you can get in one version and not the other. So you have to either go buy the other version and play it and trade with yourself, or play with someone else who has the other version. Which the guy I told you about that I beat, Mega Man 64, the final boss,
Mhm.
we both got Mega Man Battle Network, and I got the blue version, he got the white version, so we were able to trade the chips that the other couldn't get. So that's why I was able to get all 7 stars. But
nice.
like, what's the point of that? Like, I think it's the search for more money.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
just corporate greed. So I would really like to talk to someone who does have the Battle Network Legacy collection, and find out how that works, because it's got all of both versions. So I'm wondering how they had to have implemented something where you can trade with yourself, or does it have like an online trade with other people who have the game? I'd love.
It has an online. Yeah.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I haven't done Battle Network 3, but you can like battle people online, and you can trade online as well.
Okay.
I'm assuming between all of the games, but I haven't messed with it because I don't have a lot of people that also play it on PlayStation.
Gotcha. That would make sense because in the other Legacy collections, like they added like the time trials on like beating the bosses and like the double boss modes and stuff.
Mhm.
So okay. And then my last gripe, and maybe this is why you never beat ZX Advent as well, but the map in that game was pretty terrible, which is why
Yeah.
I never beat it because I could never figure out where I needed to go because it's like, oh, you need to get to room T4. I'm looking around the map. I don't even know what room I have to go to get into the T area because it's like the map in the game is basically like you've got like rooms A 1 through 5, and one of them will branch off to B 1 through 5, and there's all the areas have letter numbers and then a number. It's like, oh, you need to get to T3 or whatever. It's like I have no idea what room I even need to go to get to the T area. So that's why I fell off at ZX Advent and never finished it, which is a bummer because kind of like what we were saying earlier, is ZX Advent is the closest official thing to a Mega Man Metroidvania because it definitely has the Metroidvania map, and you do have to get certain abilities to progress to other parts of the map. But it was just so poorly implemented.
Same with ZX. ZX had a similar map layout. But the thing I liked about ZX versus Advent was like ZX brought back 0 characters as like the biometals that you could equip. And they weren't like super clunky where like the first one I got in ZX Advent, it was like, oh, I'm this giant like lava thing and I can move like one step at like Big Chungus pace.
Mega Man is basically a pretty fast-paced franchise, and then you turned into a character that's like super slow.
Yeah, and I couldn't get down with that in the map. I was just like, nope. And the main character was more like the A in Advent sort of like they're trying to make Axel a thing again because he had the double guns.
Okay.
The starting character, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll try it, and I'm like, no, I hate it.
Okay. Well, yeah, those are my gripes. So that brings us to the end. So that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did this, and maybe if we have some other franchises that we're all big fans of, we can do something else like this again. So
yeah, definitely.
This is fun.
So let's go ahead and plugs. What do you got coming up here? Gino, you got anything that you're working on right now?
So I just released a mini little video of all of the Mega Man X bosses that I fought on my first
pop up on my feed a little bit before we started.
Yeah, on my first stream, and then probably make another short tomorrow sometime. But I'm planning on streaming X5 tomorrow night around 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. Okay. And if something either Saturday or Sunday, it just depends on when I'm free. Either doing a Busterless run of X1 through one of the either X1 through 3, or just playing like Fall Guys or something.
Busterless?
Buster only. Okay. So like I'll still get the upgraded Buster, but I'm gonna try it without special weapons.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like, how do you do it Busterless? How would you beat the first boss? Okay. Yeah, I've definitely done Buster only runs of at least X1 through 3 to make it a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those ones. So cool, awesome. What about you, DJ? You got anything coming up? You working on any remixes?
Actually, I am. Yeah, I don't want to spoil, but it took a little bit of time to get set up on the new computer. You know, like getting stuff installed and updated. You know what it's like when you get a new computer.
Yeah.
But I finally got my my audio software ready to roll. I finally sat down and got some music work done today, so that's going. I still have some original music that I plan on uploading. I upload here on YouTube and on Rumble, so if you want to watch on one, you can watch on one, or if you want to watch on Rumble, that works too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, but I need to. Do you have it like when you upload to YouTube, it like automatically posts to Rumble? Like, is that a thing?
I could do that. Yeah, because Rumble has a YouTube video sync, so like you can upload to YouTube, and then Rumble will automatically catch the upload and then just upload it there on its own time. But I've had problems with it before, so I I probably could just let it do its thing, but I'm kind of worried that it's not going to upload right, so I just tend to babysit my uploads for now. But I need to just like break myself of that and just let it happen.
Okay. Yeah, I've just given my schedule. I don't really plan on making a whole lot of like video content, but I probably need to do that if I want to actually like get subscribers, because I think
Mhm.
that's kind of like the big thing for the YouTube algorithm. But since live streams are basically a lot easier to do, not as much prep, that's what I plan to spend most of my time doing. But if I ever actually start making videos and stuff, I figured that I would probably set up like the auto sync to the other
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah, you can totally do that, and I think you could do it the other way too. I don't think YouTube has something, but I know Rumble has. I can't remember what they call it, but they have a feature where if you put something on Rumble first, it'll upload it to YouTube afterwards too. So
Oh, I've not heard of it. I've only heard it going from YouTube to other platforms. I've not heard of it going from other platforms to
yeah,
YouTube. So cool. Did
yeah.
not know about that.
If you're gonna do streams, I would say Twitch and Rumble would be your best bet. YouTube, not quite so much, but they can work. If you're just doing like videos on demand, YouTube is probably the best, but you can still make it work on Rumble. I can tell you from personal experience, it's an uphill battle though.
Okay. Cool. Well, appreciate the advice.
Yeah, no problem.
So I this wasn't, I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning, but this wasn't planned to be my first stream on my channel. But just how easily it came together from watching you stream Mega Man last week. This ended up being the real first stream on my channel, but I'm planning on starting a regular stream slash podcast, if you want to call it that. It's going to be every other Saturday, starting this Saturday, the July 1st at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, where myself and Ryan from Legion Games and Mark the Cyborg are going to talk about some fun. We're going to be talking about whatever games we've been playing lately and what we have to say about those, and then fun random video game topics like, who's your favorite sidekick character, what's your favorite weapon in a video game, or who's the hardest boss you've ever beaten, just fun random topics like that. So that's going to be every other Saturday for about an hour and a half starting this Saturday. It's going to be episode 0. It's going to be more of a getting to know you. But if we have time, we'll maybe touch on some of the actual like fun topics we're going to get into. So that is my plan going forward. And I think that about wraps it up for this stream. So
Nice.
appreciate you guys coming on and talking Mega Man for a while. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. We got to do this again.
Yes, definitely. So I'm sure we will be chatting and seeing each other in the streams, and we can figure out another franchise to maybe blabber on about for hours on end.
Definitely. You mentioned you mentioned Metroidvanias, and oh man, do I love me some Metroidvanias.
Oh, okay. What about you, Gino? You sounded like you're a big fan of Metroidvanias as well.
So I haven't actually played many. I've played like 1 or 2, but I do enjoy listening.
Okay. Well, definitely sounds like DJ and I will definitely need to have a Metroidvania discussion stream as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, we'll figure that out sometime, and I'll post about it on socials. One thing I wanted to plug on myself is my Nerdy Neo Twitter account. I created recently as like the official Twitter for this YouTube channel, where I'll be posting news about the channel, and also kind of like the questions I was mentioning that we'll touch on in our stream, be asking those on Twitter as well, to ask the community what your hardest video games you ever played are, or what video game character do you find more annoying than anything. So follow me on my Nerdy Neo Twitter account, and you can answer those fun questions once I start putting those out. So all right, well, that about does it for this stream. Appreciate anybody who tuned in live or is watching this on the replay. And we will catch you on the next time on the next stream. All right. That about does it. Good night.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.